Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are here with the monthly closeout for the month of December. And it was a spendy month, guys, really spendy. But let's jump in. So for groceries, we were over budget by $686.79. So I'm just going to use this saving sweep category to cover the overspending. It does have a larger amount than normal. Normally it's somewhere around $1,200 or so, but it has the 2 extra paychecks that came in, like magic month paychecks. I know I talked about that in my prior videos. So we are going to move 686.79 to groceries. Okay. Then my husband's gas was over by $54.04. So we're going to move 5404 to his gas line. Okay, and then for Christmas for our household, we were over by $291.28. It's actually not too bad, I guess. So we're gonna move the 291. What did I say? 86. That was 28. Okay. To cover that. And then for other people in our family and other gifts outside of our household, we were over by 116.26. Okay, and then for other Christmas stuff like cards, decor, fun things that we did, we were over by $346.06. We don't typically budget for this, so it just is what it is. But you know what was really expensive, guys? Christmas cards. I get the photo cards. I was like, these cards are so expensive. That was like $151. It was like, I don't know. I think I might not do it next year. I don't know. I just feel bad because my oldest is 29, but my youngest is still only 14. So I try to do the kids, get them all together for a picture. Plus, it gives me an excuse to get them all together for a picture. But anyway, yeah, photo cards are crazy expensive. Anyway, let's cover the 346.06. And then for my step account, so I do have a link in the description box for a step account. It's basically a debit card that you can get for your kids and with an app, and you can put money on their debit cards. I know I mentioned they changed the terms, but then they changed them back. So they must have got a lot of backlash. They initially it was free. Then it was like you have to put at least $20 on the card each time, otherwise they charge you like 99 cents. Which isn't typically a big deal. When they changed it to that term, I didn't really care because usually I put at least $20 when I'm giving them money anyway. But then they went to this percentage, like it was like 2% of whatever you put on there. And it was like really adding up. So I was like thinking I was going to switch. And I guess they had a lot of backlash from that because they went back to, I noticed now it's just the $20 minimum to avoid the fee. But anyway, that's the debit card that my kids have. All my kids have it, but mostly my younger two are the ones that use it. My older two have their own checking accounts, so they don't really use that card anymore that much. All right, so we're going to cover the $27. This was basically money that I put on my account, SIP account, to give my kids. Um, and then we were over in restaurant by $689.38. We did a lot of going out, but let me just cover this. 689.38. This is also for entertainment too. It's not just like takeout, although most of the $809 was actually food. Um, let's see. We went to Chili's. We had Tim Hortons open by us. So it's like brand new. So of course the kids were like, let's go to Tim Hortons. My father-in-law's birthday, we went out to dinner. Um, I gave my daughter $10 um, for something. I think it was to get caught Dunkin' or something like that. We get Chinese food on New Year's Eve, so that's a thing. And this is Dunkin' because when you have teenagers home and they want to go to Dunkin', probably this was breakfast. I think a lot of times when I send my older two kids money, it's usually because I did something for the younger ones and then I feel bad. So then I'm like, okay, I'll send the older ones money. So I think everyone was home except for my one daughter and we all went out to breakfast. So I told her she could treat herself. This was my son's birthday. We ordered pizza. Um, this was, I guess we ordered dinner in. It was just me and my son, and so we got dinner in. Everyone else was out that day. And these, I think, are also Dunkin'. Or these were McDonald's. We got the Grinch meals here. Well, actually, my husband started a trend. He got me the Grinch meal with the socks because he knows I love the Grinch. And then it started a whole big thing in our house and it just kind of spread. So then the younger two wanted Grinch socks. And then, of course, naturally, I sent my older two kids money at college because so they can get Grinch socks too. But yeah, so it was a spendy month in that area. Anyway, moving on. So for cheer, my daughter is not in cheer at the moment, but I did not do my cash reconciliation. I do have a video somewhere about that cash, how I handle cash, that you could probably go check out. But basically, I will keep a running log of cash we spend. We keep about $1,000 in the house just for like in case we go out to dinner with friends or something and we want to have cash on our on hand. Um, and then I hadn't reconciled it in like 2 months. So usually I'll add it all up at the end of the month and write a check for the whole amount. And then when the check clears, I do a split transaction in YNAB and like allocate it out. But so this was actually old transactions from like back in the end of October. But anyway, we I finally reconciled the cash for that. So we were over by $16. So I'm just going to I don't know where her chair is. There's her chair. Okay. And school events. I'm not sure what that was. Probably our PTA membership check finally went through. I sent that in like September. I don't know why it takes so long to clear, but it did. And then this was a cookie dough fundraiser for National Honor Society for my daughter. So that put us over in school events for $41. So I'm going to cover that. And that leaves us, and this is the savings challenge category, so that's it has $3.22 in it at the moment. This leaves us with $2,430.40 left over that I can use towards savings challenges. I'm not going to use that whole amount for savings challenges. I usually will take whatever's left in this category, divide it out by the number of weeks, and that's what I use each Friday. But that's a lot of money, and I'm going to ask my husband first what he wants to do. But I'm thinking I'm going to take 2,000 of that and just put it towards our IRA, like directly. Um, but I do want to double check that with him. So that would probably get reflected in my Transfer Tuesday video, like the first one of the month where I'm adding in like this amount. And I'll just add like the $2,000 separately directly to the Roth IRA and then leave the $430.40 for savings challenges. That is my game plan, but I just do want to run that by my husband first. But yeah, that is our overspending, and now we're all caught up there. And if we go over here into our spending breakdown for the month, you can see I almost had a heart attack when I saw that number. I was like, what? Oh my god, that's so much money. So let's break this into groups. Okay, so our monthly fixed spending was $4,484.33. And the bulk of that is our mortgage. Our mortgage did go up, so our mortgage is $2,687.44. For the month of December, our car insurance was $501.81. We don't pay that full amount because our older two daughters do chip in for their car insurance. O&R is $280. That's our like gas and electric. Dental insurance is $223.84 because we have to buy our own dental insurance. Our water bill is $219.40. I think that's incorrect. I think I'll have to go back and look, but I think sometimes depending on the way the dates fall, we'll get like billed like maybe on the 31st for water, which I typically count as, a bill for January. So I'll have to go back and look, but that's most likely why it's $219.40 because that looks like double what we usually spend. My husband's life insurance is $200.01. Cell phones is $138.85. My life insurance, again, this is $98.36. Yeah, I think this also, just like the water, the bill came in early. Maybe because of the holiday, they tried to bill like early, for because it's New Year's or whatever. So that's 2 months worth. So I'll have to go double check that just to make sure. But yeah, this is probably the amount for December and January. Internet $89.62 and Easy Pass was $45. And that is our monthly spending for the month of December. If we go back to the groups, we can go to our weekly spending, and this is where we paid my daughter's college. So the weekly spending was $8,490.80. I say weekly because this account typically we only spend our gas and groceries out of. However, I do pay our credit card bill out of this account. We have one credit card we paid off every single month to get the points and for either cash, we can get cash back, which we usually don't. We usually use it for flights. Um, Mostly for my kids that think that they can travel the world. But anyway, uh, so when we have a big expense like my daughter's college, I will put it through this account just because it's going on our credit card and it has to get paid. But anyway, her college costs $6,405.75. Then groceries this past month was $1,676.79. My husband's gas was $294.04, and my gas was $115.64, and there was nothing in these two categories. So that all totaled $8,490.80, but the bulk of that was paying for this spring grad year semester for my daughter, um, for college, which it's a lot of money, guys. It's a lot of money. If you have little kids, save because it is so crazy expensive. Um, okay, going back to the screen. For our sinking funds for this month, we spent $5,162.64. The bulk of that being Christmas. So, Christmas for our household, we spent $2,672.87. That's a lot of money. We do budget $2,400, so not too bad, not too overspent on there, but still a lot of money. Restaurants and entertainment was $809.38. Christmas for other people, other family members and stuff, is $441.26. Other Christmas related stuff was $346.06. So most of the spending is Christmas related. The optometrist, we spent $319.98. So my oldest daughter needed a new pair of glasses. So between the eye exam and the glasses, it was $319.98. And new track phones, we spent $238.26. That was renewing my son's track phone plan for the year. So he's good for the whole year for $238.26. And then Amazon Prime renewed for $150.64. Tithing was $110 this month. And school events was $64. And my daughter's chair was $63 because that was like comp fees, I think, that we paid in October in cash, but I finally reconciled our cash. It says everything else. Let me come over here and see if we have a better breakdown of everything else. Okay, we do. So my husband's oil change was $50.75. We spent $50 for my son. I just gave him money in a card for his birthday. And doctor's copays was $50. My son's lacrosse was $34. I'm not sure what we spent $34 on. That might have been also, I know what that was. He had a tournament in November, and that was part of our cash reconciliation. My step account was $27. That was giving my kids money for Dunkin'. Dog food is $18 that we spent for dog food, and my oil change came to $11.78. I'm not sure why my oil change was so cheap, but I mean, my husband does them. My husband does our oil changes, so it's only like the oil, and maybe he had oil and he just needed a filter. That could be why. He had oil already. Um, but he does them, so we save on the labor part, I guess. And there's nothing going into their step cards. So yeah. So I feel like the bulk of this obviously is Christmas. It says 49% was just Christmas for us alone. And then I have, Christmas for other people and um other Christmas related stuff. So the majority of this was Christmas spending, but altogether it came to $5,162.64 for our sinking fund spending. And altogether, that brought the total for this month to $18,137.77. I got no words because, I mean, I'm grateful that we have it and that, like, most of this was saved over time. The college was saved over years. This wasn't just like cash flow money. That number is crazy to me. Crazy. Uh, so that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share my channel with others. And may God shine his light upon you and fill your days with many blessings. See you in the next video. Bye.